Good afternoon, Spartans. This is your principal, Mr. Ringer, and your guidance counselor,
Chris Webb.
All right. So we want to welcome you to our very first, so feel very special that you get to enjoy our very first virtual freshman and new student orientation. So in this slideshow that we're going to go through for you, we're just going to run through some of the highlights of what your student is going to see, why they're here with us. And again, the good thing about this is as we go through, we're not going to bore you with all the details. But as you read through this, if you need to stop it at any time, you're going to be able to stop and read through each slide. And if you have questions, you're always able to contact us, okay? So again, welcome to Pleasant High School for the 2020-2021 school year. We shall begin. So some of the people that you will see around the building this year, again, are going to be myself, Mr. Bob Smith, who will be our Dean of Students. Some of you should have seen him down at the middle school because he kind of splits his time between here and the middle school. Mr. Holman, who is our Athletic Director and our Student Success Coach. And again, if you are involved in extracurriculars at the middle school, most likely you already know who Mr. Holman is as well. And then again, Miss Webb, your guidance counselor. She will be your one-stop shop for everything educational inside our buildings, and she will be a very valuable reset or asset to you. So please make sure that you use her. So some of the forms of communication that we are going to be using this year or throughout the years to contact you and your students. So we ask that you make sure that you are up to date on making sure that your phone numbers and emails are correct so that we can reach you, are going to be PowerSchool. Our teachers will be emailing you Canvas, which is something new this year, which will be our learning management system where your students will be able to access all of their assignments and those kind of things on the days that they're not here and even the days that they are here. And the good thing is you as a parent will also be able to get onto their Canvas site and be able to see all of those things as well. And then the grade cards, which again will be part of PowerSchool. You'll also be able to see a lot of the stuff that we do via our high school website, students' emails, phone, Twitter. All of us are active or gaining activity when it comes to Twitter. So my Twitter handle is there as well as Miss Webb's and Mr. Holman's. And then a couple of dates that are going to be coming up throughout the school year that are going to be important for you that hopefully we'll be able to get to see you in person if you choose to at those times, are going to be our parent-teacher conferences, which are on the 29th of October, 5th of November, and then later on in the year in February and March. So again, as we draw closer to those times, we'll be sending out information to let you know how that you can, get to meet with your teacher and such, okay? So some daily information for you as we kind of go through. Our school day begins at 7:30 a.m. and ends at 2:15. Due to the way that we're going to be kind of handling things this year, we're asking that parents do not drop their students off before 7:15. The doors will be unlocked at 7:15 for students to start coming in, but we ask so that our students don't congregate outside into large groups. We ask that you don't drop your student off until 7:15. And again, when you do that, please make sure that you drop them off in the parking lot, not in the front loop where the buses come through. Our bus drivers don't really like it when there are cars when they're trying to come through there. So make sure that we let them off in the parking lot. Students will be assigned lockers this year, but they won't be using them. One of the reasons why we're going to go ahead and assign them is in hope that as the year progresses, we'll be allowed to kind of release some of the sanctions that we have, and students will be able to use their lockers. But for right now, students will not be using their lockers and will be able to carry a backpack with them at all times. For your lunch, it's the same lunch code as always, so you should know what that code is. And then as far as money, if you give your money to them, they will place it directly onto your account. And then school fees for those of you who, you've been paying them for years. So For those of you who have to pay them, we will be sending home school fees at the end of the first 9 weeks. The first day of schools. So when we come back again, we are starting in the hybrid model, which means that we will have a group A of students, which will come on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then we'll have group B, which will come on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So our first group, group A, which will be last names A through J, will come on August 31st. And then our Group B students will come on September 1st, which is Tuesday, and that's K through Z. When the students come in, their homerooms will be posted for them, so they'll know exactly where they need to go, and they should report directly to those homerooms. That first day of school, we will have a class meeting with each grade level of students to kind of talk with them and go over some of the things that we're talking about now, just in greater detail. And the students will kind of follow a modified schedule that day. After the first day of school, students are basically going to be reporting every day when they come in and they walk through our doors. They're going to go directly to their first period class. Number one, so that we're not having gatherings in the hallways and students are kind of getting to where they need to be. Our expectations for our students when it comes to attendance and tardies, we want you in school. We realize that the best place for you to learn is here as much as possible. And so the days that you are supposed to be at school, we want you to be here. And we will be taking attendance. When you're not here, if it is a day where you're not supposed to be at school, we're still going to be taking attendance. So you need to be engaged in what your teachers say and what your teachers, the lessons that they're providing for you, okay? So when you're here, you need to make sure that you're in class by 7:30. Otherwise, if you come in late, you need to make sure you sign in the office. If you're going to be leaving early, we prefer that you have a note with you that you can give our secretaries that you're going to be leaving early. Again, because parents, you're not going to be able to come into the school. You will be able to come to the front door, ring the buzzer, and our secretaries will be able to correspond with you through the intercom system. Dress code for our students. Guys, a typical, Miss Webb brought this up to me, but basically it's one of those things where if you sit down and you think about, should I wear this? That's probably telling you you shouldn't wear it. So the rules that applied in the middle school are going to apply here. So make sure that you're dressing appropriately when you come to school. A lot of this information is also in your student handbook. Electronic devices. For us, I'm basically talking cell phones in this. Cell phones for our building. I'm not exactly sure how you guys did it at the middle school last year, but we are not allowed to have cell phones out during the day at any point except for lunchtime. You can have your cell phone out during lunchtime, but in class exchanges or in class, your phone should be put away and turned off, okay? And again, students will go into greater detail of this as we move forward, but parents, just so you know, no cell phones except for only lunch. So if you're trying to contact your student, it's best to go ahead and just call the school because if their phone starts ringing during class because mom or dad is texting them, the student, could get their phone taken away from them for the afternoon or for the day, and we don't really want that. So make sure that they understand phones are only going to be used during lunchtime. Some other expectations, students, just so you know that when you are at school functions, whether it be a volleyball game, football game, basketball game, anything where you're at our school or you are at another school, just realize that the same rules that apply in school apply whenever you are there in terms of your behavior. If you get in trouble at another school, it is the same thing as being in trouble here. And so there'll be the same consequences. And then also students in the hallway during classes, again, trying to limit the number of times that we're having people out of classes and the possibility to congregate. We're not going to be allowing students out of class unless it is an emergency. Again, emergency that you have to go to the restroom right now or something like that, we will do that. But most likely just for those typical things, hey, I need to go down and speak with Mr. Enders, we're not really probably going to be allowing that, okay? So be selective in when you're trying to be in the hallways. Extracurricular activities. These, again, are activities that are non-athletic activities, and we'll get into those. But some of the great things that we have is fall and spring plays, our show choir, jazz band, pep band, dance team, robotics club, French and Spanish club, mock trial, student council, FCA, and Teen Institute. And again, on this, the ones that are kind of stars or have the asterisk by them are going to be clubs that if you are part of them, they are going to require you to be part of our drug testing program. Athletic opportunities. Again, most of these coincide with what you experienced at the middle school level: football, cross country, volleyball, girls tennis, golf, cheerleading, dance, and soccer are in the fall. In the winter, basketball, both boys and girls, swimming, bowling, cheerleading, wrestling, and dance again in the winter. And in the spring, baseball, softball, track, and boys tennis. So again, we encourage students to be involved in either those extracurricular activities or those athletic opportunities, because again, it's a great way for you to be involved in our school and find something that really intrigues you and something that you can grasp a hold of and make your high school experience better. Extracurricular eligibility. For this first 9 weeks of the school year due to COVID-19, OHSAA basically said that all students are eligible for activities for the first 9 weeks. After that, I would assume that we will go back to the normal where your eligibility will be determined at the end of the first 9 weeks. You have to pass 5 full credits and have a minimum GPA of a 1.5. And you also have to be enrolled in the drug testing program and make sure that you have all your physical and medical information turned in by the first day of that mandatory practice. Extracurricular attendance. Again, if you are leaving for a sporting event, most of the time this wouldn't happen until we get to tournament time or something like that. You need to make sure that you're checking in with your teachers and they know why you're going to be leaving. And most of the time, your coach would have probably already corresponded with our staff anyways, but it's good to just have a little bit of a backup there. For you to be able to participate in these activities or extracurricular activities for that day, you must be in attendance at school for 4 consecutive academic periods. Study hall does not count on that. Now, again, since we are starting in a hybrid model, if you happen to have an athletic event on a day that you're not scheduled to be at school, that is okay. You will be fine there. You just need to make sure that you're engaged in your classes at home the way that you should be. All right. Drug testing. We've already had our first round of drug testing, which was August 4th. If you happen to miss this or miss that, the makeup testing day will be on the 19th. And again, you must have all your final forms completed, and the cost will be $35 for you to do that. Again, if you are in extracurricular activities such as sports or cheerleading, musical groups, fall plays, those kind of things, you're going to make sure or need to make sure that you are being drug tested so that you're here. And also, if you are a student driver, you are going to need to be drug tested.
Okay, the second half of this then kind of pertains to me and scheduling and graduation requirements and those types of things. So we're going to start out with the graduation requirements because that's kind of the goal for everybody, is to get a diploma within 4 years. So there's a description of the new graduation requirements that I have already emailed to all freshman students. So the freshmen log into their Pleasant email accounts. Parents, please take a look at this document. These are long-term graduation requirements that were changed and started with the class of 2023. So the sophomore class on down all have new graduation requirements. So if you had a child who graduated this year or a couple of years ago, what the requirements are to graduate now are different than what they were then. So currently this year we have freshmen and sophomores who are under the new graduation requirements and juniors and seniors who are under the old graduation requirements. So for freshmen, you've got to have 21 credits. Those 21 credits fall into certain subject areas. you have to have a competency requirement. That's basically testing. So there's a state test score that you have to get in the Algebra 1 and you have to get in the ELA 2 test. The Algebra 1 test, some of the students may have taken it already because they were in Algebra 1 last year. For the Algebra or the ELA 2, that will be taken during the spring of sophomore year when they're in sophomore English. So the score they have to get on both of those tests is a 684. If they don't get a 684 on each of those tests, there are some alternates, things that they can meet in order to earn that competency requirement. But most of them it's going to require them attending Tri-Rivers. And then demonstration of readiness. So all students have to choose 2 graduation seals, and it doesn't matter if it's a college prep student, if it's a student who's going to Tri-Rivers, if it's a student who's doing College Credit Plus. Every single student has to earn 2 graduation seals. So in September, I'm going to be emailing out a Google link to all freshmen, and I'm going to have them choose actually 3 different seals that they want to pursue. They only need 2 of them to graduate, but I like to always have one as a backup plan. So parents will probably do an all call to notify you as well when that Google link is sent, and I want you to sit down and kind of talk with your child as far as which seals you're going to pick. For schedules, these should be in PowerSchool now. Those were turned on August 14th. So once you log into PowerSchool, you should be able to see what your schedule is. A hard copy of schedules will be given to students the first day of school in homeroom. Please pay attention to the difference between first and second semester. The freshman schedule, if you look, they have health one semester and intro to technology the next semester, or they're flip-flopped. So please pay attention to that where it has S1 and S2. If you're a new student, but you're a sophomore, junior, or senior, you might have a ceramics class or an American history through film class that's only 1 semester. So please take a look at that as well to make sure that you're going where you need to be. If you want to request a schedule change, there is a Google link that's currently on the high school guidance website where you can go through and do that form. We give the first 5 days of the semester to make a schedule change. So Friday, September 4th will be the last day to make a schedule request. There's another opportunity to make a schedule change the first 5 days of the second semester, which will be in January. So not all requests are going to be made. Just because you put a request in doesn't mean that I can make it happen. We are really trying to pay attention to class numbers because of the situation that we're in with COVID. And also there's just conflicts. Sometimes some classes are only offered 1 period and we can't make a change because there's a conflict. So those things will all be in place. I'll do the best I can to make some of those requests, but I won't be able to make all of them. I also need a parent note or an email in order to make that schedule change. Once that request is put in through the Google form, then I will find your child and pull them out of class and do what we need to do to make the change, or I'll do it via email. So with the curriculum, and I talked about this a little bit when we did the 8th grade scheduling meeting back in February, so I'm just going to hit this real quick. A majority of our kids are in the college prep curriculum. We also have a tech prep classes, particularly in math and English, where things move a little bit slower, aren't quite as in-depth, not as much homework in those particular classes versus the college prep classes. And we've got kids who intermix those. They may be really good at English, so they're in a college prep English, but math is a struggle, so they're in a tech prep math. So those are things that you can interchange. Junior and senior year, then students do have the option to do the vocational route out at Tri-Rivers, and they have some wonderful programs out there that students can take advantage of. And most of those programs, they're employable upon high school graduation. So there will be presentations sophomore year for those students and what kind of classes they can take at Tri-Rivers. College Credit Plus, I talked about during the 8th grade scheduling meeting as well. Those are all classes that are listed there that we offer here at Pleasant. Our teachers have really worked hard to do what they need to do to be certified to teach those classes. We work with Marian Tech, Ashland University, in Columbus State University in order to offer those classes. So definitely take advantage of those. If you feel like College Credit Plus just is not something that you want to tackle anytime during high school, that's fine. But the opportunity is certainly there if it's something that you want to take advantage of. So risks and rewards of College Credit Plus that I always want to make sure we point out. It does allow students to earn college credit while they're in high school. It allows them to explore college majors. We have students who take classes like Intro to Engineering or Intro to Criminal Justice to see if it's a major that they think they might want to pursue upon graduation. And it gives students experience with college level expectations and responsibilities. Those classes, it's not, you're not going to get bonus points for bringing tissue box in. You're not going to have homework to help support your grade. It might literally be a class where you have 4 exams and that's it. So it kind of allows students to get that kind of experience and understand that rigor before they actually step onto a college campus. Or risks of it that people need to be aware of is they are college courses. There's college level expectations and difficulty and responsibility. There's really no snow days with college classes. Like you're working on that material regardless of what's happening at Pleasant High School. So you are a college student while you're in that CCP class. The grades do go on a high school and a college transcript. So if you fail a class or if you get a C in a class, that is going on the college transcript and it is going on your high school transcript as well. And then if a student, heaven forbid, fails a class or if they withdraw from a course after a certain time, the school will then charge the students and parents the cost of that class along with the cost of the book and any other fees associated. So one thing that's really important, and our CCP teachers are going to really emphasize this year, and I kind of mentioned this a little bit in the last slide. You need to understand that even if your child is a freshman, when they are taking that college class, they are viewed as an adult college student. And that teacher is not a Pleasant High School teacher at that time. They are a college instructor. So if you have a question about your child in psychology or your child in college algebra or your child in med-term, you cannot, as a parent, just contact that teacher and ask about your child's performance unless a FERPA release has been signed by that child. So please keep that in mind. I know that's something that has come up a couple of times in years past where parent-teacher conferences or email that a parent is trying to contact a teacher about their CCP grade, and our teachers can't talk to you about that because your child is a college student at that time. So that's a discussion you need to have with your child. The FERPA release is found on the college website. Particularly MTC, that's where most of our classes are through. So you just need to make sure that your child has signed that FERPA release. Our teachers here can confirm with the college that FERPA release has been signed. And at that point, the teacher can talk with the parent about the grade. So high school credits, they're earned by semester. Most classes are all a half a credit. Unless it's a CCP class, then it could be 1 full credit for a semester. But most high school credits consist of 2 9 weeks and then a semester exam. Semester exams are only given in core courses. For a student to earn credit for the semester, they have to pass 2 of the 3 components. So a 9 weeks and a semester exam, or at least both 9 weeks. Some combination of that in order to earn that half a credit. So we will give first and second semester exams. Those are given in math, English, social studies, science, and foreign language. If it's an elective like choir or art or engineering, those classes don't have electives. They're simply made up of both 9-week grades. Semester exams will be taken by all students. This is a new change for this year, that there are no more exam exemptions. And then if you fail a course that's required for graduation, that course will be repeated. So for instance, if you fail freshman English, let's say that you failed the first semester of freshman English, but you passed second semester of freshman English, then your sophomore year, you're going to be back in that first semester of freshman English along with your sophomore English class. So, from kindergarten through 8th grade, they can kind of pass you along in certain areas if you only fail a class here or there. At the high school, that stops. If you fail a course that's required for graduation, you will repeat it and possibly be taking 2 classes in that subject area the next year. Class ranking is done a little different, so we make sure we always bring this up. Some schools just do their class ranking strictly by GPA. We don't function that way here at Pleasant. Our class ranking is based on something that's called quality points. In order to earn quality points, you've got to take difficult courses, you've got to get good grades in those courses, and make sure that you have a full schedule. So those are calculated by multiplying. Every class that we have at Pleasant has a quality point assigned. So those list of quality points is found on the guidance website. You can look those up for any class that we offer here, and we multiply that by the credit, and then whatever the grade value is, if it's an A, it's a 4, if it's a B plus, it's a 3.333. We multiply that, and that then gives us a cumulative quality point that then determines the class ranking. Career exploration days. This is something that we've really started to push with our freshmen and sophomores. Juniors and seniors have college exploration days. But we really feel like, foundationally for freshmen and sophomores, we really need to push the, what career do you think that you may go into? So sometimes you really can't experience that unless you actually get out of here and go experience a job firsthand. So all freshmen and sophomores are granted 2 school days to job shadow that won't count against attendance. The paperwork must be completed. It's found both on the guidance website and down here in the main office. So if there's somebody that you want to go and job shadow, you can certainly do that. I know things may be a little more difficult with that this year between, I know some people are still even working from home, A, and B, I know some businesses are trying to limit the number of outside people coming in. But if there is a situation where your child can do some job shadowing, we certainly encourage that, and they have 2 days to do that won't count against their attendance. So my last thing is, during these last 4 years, they're going to go by in a snap. I can tell you that very quickly. Set goals for yourself. I try and encourage with students, this is a fresh start. We don't care what's happened in elementary school. We don't care what happened in middle school. It's a fresh start, both academically and socially for everybody. So I just really encourage students to set goals. What do you want to get out of these 4 years? Don't just go through the motions. Think about, okay, what do I really want to do? Think about a 4-year plan based on what your goals are. We push with our kids here at the high school, what's your E? Is it to enroll in college eventually upon graduation? But Mr. Ringer and I both will be the first ones to tell you, college is not the answer for everybody. And it's not the what we're going to push down everybody's throat. If you look at the stuff that's coming out with different careers, we don't have people who are coming out with enough blue collar jobs, apprenticeships, welders, electricians, carpenters. There's a need for those, and a 4-year college degree isn't necessarily the answer for everybody. So we really want kids to focus on, okay, what do I want to do? Maybe I don't have to go and get a degree to do this. Maybe I can go and get some on-the-job training and some industry credentials, and maybe eventually that company will help me pay for a degree. Those are kinds of the things we want people just to be open thinkers as far as what their possibilities are upon graduation. So, the 2-year and 4-year college thing is obviously there for everybody. I think everyone's very familiar with that, but also look at certificate programs. Marian Tech has a lot of certificate programs that some students can complete within 6 to 9 months, at least to get into the job market, and then they can continue their education from there. The same thing with apprenticeships, like I talked about with welders and electricians and auto mechanics and HVAC. There's 3 and 4 year apprenticeship programs that students can enroll in upon graduation, that they've got a job waiting for them then once they get done with those apprenticeships. So I want students to kind of look at that option. Employment is another thing. Some kids will say, look, I'm just looking to work, upon graduation. That's fine. But let's try and find you a job. Let's try and get you some credentials between now and high school graduation that makes you more employable so that you can go right into the job market once you get your high school diploma. And then there's enlistment with the military, and we have recruiters who are in touch with us every year from all branches, including the National Guard, and they can even help you pay for college as well. And they'll obviously train you, give you some job training as well that will make you employable that way. So we want students to kind of think about what their E is and setting their goals around those types of things. Try new things, like Mr. Ringer had talked about. We have a lot of both athletics and other extracurricular activities that students can get involved in. We feel it's important to be involved, one way or another. I don't care if it's, you're not an athletic person, but you want to do something with clubs, do something to build that resume, go out and try new things and make connections and make new friends. You'll find that the classes you're in, you're going to see people who are still in your class, but you're really going to be thrown in now with sophomores and juniors and seniors. So it's your chance to create some new relationships with other people and to kind of branch out and try something new. And then work hard, but have fun. I really want to push finding that balance. I'm going to be one of those people who I don't want to hear that you want to drop a class because you think it's too hard. I want students to be pushed. I don't want you to not take a class because you're afraid you might not get an A in it. I think it's good that you don't get an A in everything. You need to be challenged and be ready for that next step beyond high school. At the same time, mental health is very important. There's also students who are so busy outside of school, and they also just bury themselves with a lot of hardcore classes here, and they're just burning the candle at both ends. And I feel like that affects them mentally and with relationships and things like that. And I don't want you, stressed out and having to sit at home with your face in a book on a Friday night rather than going to the football game with your friends. Like, you need to find that balance and experience high school while still pushing yourself and meeting your goals and getting yourself set up for that next step after graduation. So just really try and keep that in mind when you're putting all of these things together.
Great. Thank you so much, Ms. Webb. So in a nutshell, we just want to tell you all that we're so excited to be able to meet you and meet your student. Hopefully, as this year progresses, we'll all have a time where we are able to get together and say hi to one another face to face. But just as Ms. Webb said, we encourage your student to find their passion, why they're here, and go after it. Enjoy their time here within these walls. It's such a fantastic school to be at. We have an amazing supportive staff who are going to be here to help your child over these next 4 years. So please, at any time, do not hesitate to reach out to myself or Miss Webb or any of our teachers for assistance. That is what we're here for. And we're excited to start this school year off and to get things going. So again, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. Have a good day or evening or whenever you're watching this. Go Spartans.
Bye.